I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 446 of the Hoots Podcast. And Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. It's your truly the nefarious brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez, here on this Friday, January 3rd, 2025. Hope each and every single one of you are having a wonderful week as we start this new transition in the year of 2025. As always, I'm your truly the nefarious brother Adam. You can follow me at Twitter if you like, at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Josh Lopez Music, and the best way to support this podcast, which drops each and every single Friday anywhere you get your podcast from, is to follow and stream the podcast on Spotify. But if you also want to help us out and hopefully bring some revenue back to the Hoots Podcast, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. That really helps expand the reach of the show. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So 2025 is going to be a very interesting year. Obviously, we're hitting the final stretch of this podcast. We'll have episode 450 on January 31st, which will be a pretty sentimental show for me. It'll be marking 20 years of the passing of my nanny, Teresa Catalano, who passed away from pancreatic cancer January 31st, 2005. So that episode is going to be dedicated to her. I'm going to talk a little bit about her on that episode and what she meant to me. And that's been a little bit heavy on my mind, knowing that episode is coming up soon because it's on that date. So that's going to be a very cathartic recording process for me. But, we'll get to episode 450 at the end of the month, which will be the show the day before the Royal Rumble. And WrestleMania season's here. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now, just juggling through my head and thinking about where things are going to go for not only WWE, but also myself. I'm sitting here right now at 11:06 in the morning here in Chicago on a Friday, recording this podcast for you. And I'm telling myself right now that this may be the last year that I do audio work in the wrestling space. As many of you guys know, I said that episode 500 will be the final episode of the Hoots Podcast, and it's coming fast, and I feel it around the corner. We are 54 episodes away from the final episode, and I just want to put an end to this chapter in a positive light. I think 2025 will be another good year for the podcast. I think as I look back at 2024, we got over the 1 million download and play benchmark finally on Anchor, which was such a cool accomplishment to receive that and to see that on Spotify. It really meant a lot to me. To do this independently, not backed by a big network with a bunch of sponsors attached to it. Yeah, would I love to come on here and read ads for Blue Chew and all these different stuff, NordVPN and all this stuff that you hear from every other podcast? Would I love to be making a gazillion dollars for this podcast? Would I love to have the opportunities to fly and travel to cover these events in person? Absolutely. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be in the cards for me. But the bigger point I want to make here is that I'm proud of what this show has represented in this space for the last 10 years. My bad, 9 years. It'll be 10 years next year. I'm very proud of that. I'm very humble for the fact that a lot of you take the time to listen to the podcast each and every single week. And I want to make sure that as I'm putting the final signature on this podcast in the beginning of 2026, I just want to say thank you for coming on this journey with me. Allow me to grow and mature in front of you. And a lot has gone on since I started this podcast when I was at my mom's house in 2016 with loud birds chirping in the background to move, like 4 or 5 years later, moving to my first apartment to here we are now at this other place, and a lot of transition, a lot of growth and maturity, like I said, and really pushing myself to pull myself out of this shell that I've kind of isolated myself in for the last 20 plus years of my life. I think I probably had more energy and more charisma, I guess, and more. I was happier as a kid than I was the years following that, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. It was, I guess, guilt, shame, dealing with bullying. There's a whole bunch of reasons I could probably explain that. This podcast has also been a self-discovering journey for me. It hasn't just only been about me coming here, giving you my wrestling opinion that you may or may not give two shits about. I come on here, this is a chance for me to reflect in a little way. Sometimes the podcast can be a little bit of therapy for me too. But we have a lot of open and raw, honest conversations with you guys, and I feel like this platform has been a blessing in a way and a great release for me to come on here and just speak from the heart and just say what I need to say and not really care about what anybody says on the other side of listening to this. Like, I come here, I pull no punches. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. I'm here to speak from my mind, and I want, in a way, that if anybody takes anything positive from, regardless of the episodes they listen to, I want at least people to know that you can have your own opinions, you can have fun with wrestling, and you can also have fun with the process of healing and, rediscovering yourself and, having those uncomfortable conversations, not only with yourself, but other people in your life too, where, I think there's a big issue with communication in society today, and I can admit probably to a fault that I've kind of hid myself from the world where maybe I haven't as opened up or tried to be as That's even the thing too. Like, I'm saying all this stuff right now. You can be listening to this right now and be like, Josh, what are you talking about? You do have a personality. You do have charisma. But there's the other part of me where I have been shy. I own up to that fact. When I'm not really the biggest New Year's resolution type of guy, to be honest with you. I could have these goals and hold myself accountable, but it's really about actions with me. So I don't really just, here's my list of all the stuff I'm going to do for 2025, and that's it. Life doesn't work that way, and I rather be about my actions than saying, I'm going to do something, then I don't. So when I look into this year, honestly, at the end of the day, I hope in a way that I could just take that deep breath, be happy with who I am, and live with the decisions I make without always worried about what other people are going to think about it. I really think that's probably the biggest thing I want for myself for this year. Obviously, you guys know that I'm moving to Florida soon. That's not changing at all. Not anytime soon, at least. So I just want to say, I think for me, honestly, I want to just, to make sure that I'm happy with myself and that I'm enjoying what I'm doing with my career, and I'm enjoying entering this next chapter of my life and literally making it a reality and not pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. Just going through what I want, and I can't go through this cycle again like I did last year, where I'm like so worried about what other people are going to think about what I want to do for my life. Like I just can't do it anymore. So yesterday I gave out my rent for the final part of this lease that I have here at my Wello and Wellis house. I know they have a new landlord, which he's a great guy. I want to give a shout out to Theodo. He's a pretty cool dude. He's been really nice to me. This will always be my Wello and Wellis house. So, so I gave out my final rent for this lease, and so there's a new lease that was offered to me to go for a month-to-month deal for $900, which would cover me until I am ready to go to Florida. And really right now, just having an honest conversation with myself, I think March or April is when I'm going to go. So really right now, my main focus is getting the second job and just going from there. I've been improving my credit card score, which has been good. I think I'm probably like $3,000 or $4,000 away from what I really want to make this move going and making it happen. But I can't do it without the second job. So that's really what it is right now. But to have the deal that I had to pay $900 with this new lease, really, I'm just giving myself all through January through February, and it could be March, April, or May is when I'm going to go to Florida. And there's a lot of things I have to put in consideration too. You know, there's taxes coming up. You know, like I said, I have to get this second job, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. And I'm just really excited to just... I'm kind of tired of talking about it, and I just want to do it already. But yeah, I'm like $3,000 or $4,000 away from making it a reality. So I have to figure something out and get this thing on the road here. But as far as this year, like I think this is gonna be a fun year for me. Just thinking about work-wise, I think this is going to be a good year for me. Transcript-wise, 2024 was a good year on that front. Did a lot of great things. A lot of the articles I did ranked really high with a lot of major outlets. I put my transcript work against anybody within this industry when it comes to play-by-play articles specifically. I would like to expand my workload within the wrestling space in 2025. I would love the opportunity to maybe hop on some post-game shows, maybe do a midday talk show type of thing. I don't know if this is something that I would want to do for free, but I have ideas of what I want to do to expand my workload for 2025. Obviously, I would love to have the opportunity to cover all these other promotions again, but I can't do it for free. If I had the opportunity with what I was doing like 3 years ago, where I was like, that's the funny thing. Like, when I was making the money that I was making 3 years ago, I wasn't even covering Raw or SmackDown or the pay-per-views at the time, which is crazy to think about. So it was New Japan, it was AEW, I would do NXT, and then like some of the ancillary shows on like NXT UK or 205 Live or NXT Level Up. But the AEW, New Japan, TNA, NWA, MLW, like... I was busting my ass. Like that, I was doing almost 50 to 60 hour weeks with just the transcripts alone, and I would really love to have the opportunity to do that again in 2025. I would love to have the opportunity if it presented itself, but I can't do that for free. That's why I stopped covering TNA. It's why I stopped covering New Japan. I had to cover it. I had to be compensated for the time that I put into it. And the site I work for has been really nice to me. And I want to give a shout out to Kyle. He's been really kind and fair to me. I understand what they can afford to pay me and stuff like that. He's been good to me in the 6 years that I've been doing work with him. And he's been more than fair to me. But it's like you share your work on these sites, and they're not paying you to go to WrestleMania or stuff like that. They're not paying for you to pay. They're not paying your you have to pay for Peacock or New Japan World or Max now, since AEW is streaming on Max, which I think is a cool thing. And congratulations to AEW. I think that's a big deal for them. But the point is like I would love to. If I had the opportunity where I was making $3,000 a month just on wrestling articles alone, I would be happy. I would love the opportunity to, like transcribe interviews. I'd love to do that. I would love to do some stuff in the sports world in 2025. I would love to just expand my workload in the fact of that I am a person. I'm a freelancer. I have a license to be a professional broadcaster. Media is my career, and I want to do more work, but I just can't do it for free. So I think this is going to be a good year, obviously, with Raw going to Netflix and all these international shows. SmackDAHN moving from 2 hours to 3 hours starting tonight. It's going to be pretty cool. But all in all, I think 2025 is going to be a very good year for me. Just a clear head, intentional with what I want, and just, making each day count. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I want to carry with me this year. Is just to make things count and make sure that at the end of the day that I'm keeping myself happy more than anything. I'm still taking care of myself, doing these walks. Like, my back's feeling it today. It's I feel a little pain with my back today from the walk, but it's worth it. Like you're just, it's a grind. It's a real grind, and we're gonna figure this out. I think a lot of big things are on the horizon for me. I have everything in front of me. I just need to make sure that no matter what I'm doing, no matter what my second job is, whatever these next couple of months look like, I have to make sure at the end of the day that I'm making myself happy. So let's just pray that I can get this second job, and I can get the $4,000 that I need to get out of Chicago and not look back. Let's just figure this out, and let's have fun with it. But all in all, I hope everybody had a great time during the holiday season. I'm in good spirits. I went to go see Mufasa in the theaters the other day on New Year's Day. I decided to take myself out. Usually New Year's and New Year's Day has been kind of a loner type of thing since I moved out of my mom's house. Usually I'm either working at nighttime, or nobody usually wants to do anything with me or ask me to go out. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this where I'm all lonely and depressed to start the new year like I am all the other time. But for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take myself out. So the opportunity came up. I saw the Mufasa's in the theaters. Anybody that knows me personally knows that Lion King is my all-time personal favorite movie. So I went to go see it, and I loved it. It brought back a lot of good memories. By the way, I'm sorry for all the ruckus in the background. The landlord's been having people do repairs and a whole bunch of stuff around my house for the last 3 to 4 weeks. So it's been constant ruckus from 9 a.m. to 6:30 at night. So I apologize for that for the last couple episodes, hearing always ruckus in the background. I promise it's not me. I'm not moving anything around. They're just doing a lot of remodeling stuff in the house. So the guy is an engineering professional. He has the money, so he's going all out. I don't know what the hell this guy is doing outside of my house with this big tube-looking thing. But anyways, you're getting live reactions as I'm recording this podcast. Hey, no filter here, man. Uncooked, unraw, and uncensored. And unfiltered, yes. All right, anyways. I went to see Mufasa. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I will always be biased towards the Lion King franchise. It's one of my personal favorites. It's my personal favorite movie. And it will always be emotional to me. It brings back a lot of great memories with my Wella. When she would babysit me when I was a kid, she would always put Lion King on for me every single day. Every single time she babysitted me, it was always Lion King for me. And I love that movie. And Mufasa, it was fun. I would even go see it again. But it was nice. Like, I was like, you know what? Why sit here and sulk and be depressed and, be in my feelings to start the new year? Why not just take myself to downtown, go watch a movie, and just get out of the house a bit. So that was nice. And I'm really excited. I think obviously January in WrestleMania season is always busy for me, which I'm excited. We got a lot of fun stuff to look forward to, which I'll get into this week in WWE. But all in all, I think 2025 year is going to be a good year for your boy, and I just appreciate you all being part of this journey as we hit the final chapter of this podcast, and we're hitting that final leg of this project. And I'm just really excited for this year. So that is going to put a conclusion to our monologue here. But when we come back, we'll get to this week in WWE, answer your questions for the Back Porch Q&A session, and call it a day right here on episode 446 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Time to check out what happened this week in WWE. I have a lot of thoughts. We got the Raw Netflix premiere coming up on Monday. We got SmackDAHN tonight. Time to talk a little bit, some projections, and see what could happen on the horizon as the road to WrestleMania is about to start soon. And but before we get to that, I think we should go back and listen to what happened with CM Punk and Seth Rollins on this past week's Monday Night Raw from Houston, Texas.
Took his ball and went home. The most industry plant, cliche bootlicker line I've ever heard in my entire life. What paragon of virtue did you get that from, huh? Who originally said that? That wanted to turn the people against the boys when he got told no, or when he got told you're wrong. Did Stone Cold Steve Austin take his ball and go home? I haven't seen the man around these parts in quite some time. Did she take her ball and go home too? Or is it just me, Seth? You want to tell these people that I turned my back on them? You want to tell 15,000 strong in Houston that I abandoned them? When in reality, you just want to cry because I abandoned you. I was sick and tired, and I left this place, and you stayed, and you ate it. We both made our choices. We both made our decisions. I have no regrets. None. I don't want to talk about the last 10 years. Let's talk about the last 10 months. Seth, how's your neck? How's your knee, Matt? How's that knee? How's your insides? Because I watched Big Bronson Reed hit you with 6 tsunamis. How's your pride? Because you didn't get a modicum of revenge on him, and you saw me break his ankle in War Games. Self-proclaimed best in the world? Yeah, because I believe in myself. Self-professed martyr? You're damn right. I came back. I didn't want to make friends. I said very publicly, I'm here to make money. And next week, oh, baby, I get to make a boatload of cash, making you the victim you so badly want to be, little brother. Oh, cut that crap, man. Cut that little brother crap. That don't work no more. You know the difference between you and everybody else that left? They actually did leave, all right? My wife, she's taking a break to raise a kid. I know you don't know what that's like. Stone Cold, he said it was the biggest mistake he ever made. He understands about change, all right? You left. You wanted this place to die with the echoes of those CM Punk chants. You went on your buddy's podcast, tried to tear this place down. When that didn't work, you took every single shot you could to try to kill this place, and you still couldn't do it. And then you took a big chunk of change to go join the competition. How'd that work out for you? You want to call me a martyr? Nah, man. I never felt bad about anything that I did. I never felt ashamed. I fought and I stayed because that's how revolutions are made. All right? That's how they're made. They're made in the trenches, not by cowards who abandon their families. You stay in the trenches, you fight. That's how we win the war. And we won the war. And you want to come back in here and you want to wave the flag with us? No way. You can't big brother me anymore because I'm the damn big brother. So you will take another 10 years off after the 6, but it's not going to be a decision you make. It's going to be one I make for you. You can recognize the pioneers because of the arrows in their back. I was the first one through the wall and I got bloodied for it. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. I loved the place I worked. I just hated the guy in charge and he loved you. And in situations where you should have had my back, all you did was shoot arrows in it. And then I leave, and lo and behold, he shows his true colors, and he stabs Roman Reigns in the back. And now he's dressed like an idiot, trying to play victim in a situation that he created. Those arrows kill weak people. The greats, above all odds, find a way to march forward, and I left because I had to, and I got far enough away until those arrows couldn't reach me anymore. And after a few years, I started to be able to pull them out. And after a few more years, I pulled them all out. And I came back because for 7 years, they chanted, mostly during your television time, my name. But I'm not, and oh, aren't the arrow throwers mad? Next week, those same arrows that were supposed to do me in, I carry to this day. And I'm walking into LA, Netflix, live and in living color, with a fistful of arrows, and I'm gonna jam them down your corporate throat. Said this to your face. Maybe once upon a time you were a pioneer. What you have become is a cancer. You are a cancer to that locker room. You are a cancer in my brain. You are a cancer to this business. And cancer does not cure itself. The only way to defeat it is to cut it out. So in 1 week, you bring your fistful of arrows. I'll bring my eyes of fire and my heart full of hate and rage, and I will burn you to the ground.
Bam. God damn. Mamma mia. want to talk about some Heat Oos. Top tier shit, man, from two top class performers. Once again, CM Punk showing the entire world why Tony Khan is the most inept promoter on God's green earth. Who would have thunk it? Seth Rollins throwing a hissy fit after War Games last year, and here we are. These two guys are going to have a box office match at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles next week for the Raw Netflix premiere. This promo was fantastic. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, hence why I replayed the promo for you. It's really not much for me to break down. I mean, I guess we could use the Punk line, like, tell me where I'm telling lies. But really, there really wasn't any lies told amongst this promo. Like, it was dope, man. This is the fun stuff that I really enjoy about my job, where I have the opportunity to type down segments like this, and I could remember verbatim, and it's making me better at my craft. It makes me appreciate the art form better, and it's really cool. Like the little anecdotes that they add, the references to Vince McMahon, the the stuff where Punk is like, am I a hypocrite just like your wife who took her ball and went home? The stuff where stuff's like, well, she's home raising a kid, but you wouldn't know what that's like. Just all the back and forth barbs. It was fantastic. I mean, you have two of the best performers in the industry wrapping up a really long era of television on the USA Network on Monday night, selling you to why you should watch this match on Netflix, and they knocked it out of the park. I mean, there's no other way I could say other than that they literally knocked it out of the park on Monday night with that segment. It was top tier shit, and I expect no less from Seth Rollins and the GOAT, CM Punk and stuff. So I'm excited for this, man. This Raw Netflix premiere show is going to be pretty dope. We have Drew McIntyre against Jey Uso in a grudge match. I think Drew will win that match. I think Sammy will get involved. But here's the thing. I think what happens with Drew and Jay does have an effect of what happens with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Now, hear me out. I don't think these guys are going to get involved in the match. But what happens after this match with Seth Rollins and CM Punk? Does CM Punk beat Seth Rollins, and that causes Seth to go to a downward spiral where he costs Punk the Royal Rumble? Does this happen where Seth Rollins finally gets what Drew McIntyre saying, and then we get the real heel Seth Rollins to show its face? Obviously, Sammy and Jey Uso have unfinished business with Drew McIntyre, but wouldn't you be surprised if there is a tag match at WrestleMania this year that says Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins against Jey Uso and Sammy Uso? Just think about that. I'm just throwing it out there really quick. There's so many different scenarios to think about, but you have that match. You got Rhea Ripley against Liv Morgan, the last woman standing match for the Women's World Championship. I think Rhea Ripley will defeat Liv Morgan. Dominic Mysterio will get got during this match. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. He's going to get his ass kicked during that match. But I think Rhea Ripley will win. Damian Priest will get involved. Probably Raquel Rodriguez will be out there as well. It's not going to end well for Liv, but Liv's had a fantastic title reign, and I think I don't think this could be some downward spiral for her. Liv had a fantastic run. I think it does come to an end in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome, so I think Rhea Ripley will win that one. Of course, we got Tribal Combat with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. A lot of questions about where that's going to go. Are we going to see The Rock? The never-ending question. Are we going to see The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year? I think you're going to get a better answer on Netflix than you will the Royal Rumble, because Roman and Solo for Ulafala, the Tribal Combat, we're getting this match, and I thought this was something that they were going to save for like Saturday night's main event or the Royal Rumble, but doing this on Netflix, there's an intention here, and I do think The Rock will show up. In what capacity and who he's addressing, that's a different story. Because as much as I thought coming out of last year's WrestleMania that we were going to see The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, so much stuff has gone on under the radar that people are not paying attention to in regards to Cody Rhodes, where it's so many of these other personal issues with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. We haven't seen him since he's got taken out. Okay, Cody beats Kevin in the ladder match at the Rumble in Indy. Who's to say that Cody doesn't fight Randy Orton at WrestleMania this year? There's speculation, rumor, innuendo that Cody Rhodes is going to fight John Cena at WrestleMania this year. I happen to think that John Cena is going to fight Gunther at WrestleMania this year. So many different scenarios. This is why we enjoy professional wrestling. Speaking of John Cena will be on Raw on Netflix as the John Cena retirement tour officially begins. And I think John Cena will indeed kick off the show on Monday, and rightfully so. So I can't talk enough about this Netflix show. It's going to be fucking dope. I'm excited for it. And also, for myself, obviously, I wouldn't say 100% a selfish point of view. Just in general, I'm excited for SmackDAHN to be 3 hours. I think it's a good opportunity for the men and women on the Blue Brand who haven't really had a chance to really develop their characters with TV time to, have their time on TV and, get it going. I think it's going to be pretty dope. So when I look at SmackDown going to 3 hours, yeah, it's nice for financial reasons for myself, but having more opportunity for the men and women maybe on the mid card to take their game to the next level in 2025, I think is a good thing. And you can reshuffle the rosters, or we can finally get to the end of this freaking brand split and call it a day. We'll have to see how that goes. But before we wrap up the segment, I want to do really quick a preview for New Year's Evil, which will be taking place next week on the CW. I don't know how long this show is going to be, but this show is from the, let me see the venue because it's in LA as well. It's from the Shrine Expo Hall, or the Shrine Auditorium in LA, a classic venue. But here's your matches for NXT New Year's Evil as a TV special as they start off the year. Again, I don't know how long this show is going to be, but we got Gigi Dolan, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tatum Paxley against Fatal Influence in a 6-woman tag team match. We got Lexis King against Charlotte Dempsey for a sudden death rules match for the NXT Heritage Cup Championship. That was made official this week on TV. We'll get a decisive winner there, so that should be a good match as well. We have Cora Jade against Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, and Stephanie Vaquer. Fatal 4-way match where the winner will become the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship. I think I'm going to go with either Stephanie Vaquer or Lola Vice. I think those are my two favorites. I wouldn't mind seeing Cora Jade winning, but hey, we're going to see Cora Jade on my TV screen, so that's good for me. God, that girl's I think Cora Jade is taking the pole position as the number 1 waterfall in the industry today, currently. Holy moly, man, that girl's hot. Anyways, Roxanne Perez, Julia, rematch for the NXT premiere on the CW for the Rosemont Horizon back in October. Roxanne Perez against Julia. I'm torn. This is kind of 50-50 here. Here's the thing. Either Roxanne Perez drops the title at Stand and Deliver, or she's dropping it on Tuesday. I'm really torn. I'm 50-50 on it. Do you want to make a big change on this special, Or do you want to do it and wait for it for Stand and Deliver, kind of like how you did with Carmelo Hayes? I don't know. That's the thing. You know what? Knowing Shawn Michaels, I think the title change is going to happen. I'm going with Julia. Julia will beat Roxanne Perez this Tuesday on NXT. Then we got the main event is Trick Williams, Obafemi, and Eddie Thorpe for the NXT Championship. By the way, if you haven't seen Trick Williams and Obafemi segment on NXT TV this week, go on your way to check it out. It's pretty good. Also, want to give a shout out really quick to Live Valkyria and Io Sky. That was a fantastic tournament match for that women's IC title tournament that got going on. That was a dope match. So I just want to give a shout out to a couple ladies there. But Trick Williams, Obafemi, and Eddie Thorpe. This is an easy pick here. I think Trick Williams will defeat Obafemi and Eddie Thorpe. Can this match with Trick and Oba be revisited down the road at Stand and Deliver? Absolutely, but I think Trick Williams will escape, and Eddie Thorpe is there to take the pin. So that is my predictions. No, for NXT New Year's Evil right here on the Hoots Podcast. All right, when we come back, we have one final segment for me. One, not for me. I want everybody to do me a favor before we get to our final segment. As you're listening or watching this right now, make sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That'll help us become a partner with YouTube. It'll help me get some well overdue revenue and return back for this podcast. And more importantly, outside of the money, I really want to get one of those YouTube like plaque things for this podcast. I think it's deserving. It'll be a nice token award thing to have for 2025, and I would really appreciate that. So subscribe to the Hoots Podcast on YouTube, and really the best way overall to support this podcast is follow and stream the podcast audio-wise on Spotify. So that's it for the plugs. But when we come back, we have one final segment to do here for the podcast this week. It is the Back Porch Q&A session, and we'll do it right here on episode 446 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. One more segment here for episode 446 of the Hoots Podcast. How to answer your questions for this week's edition. No, the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the Hoots Podcast. Time to give a shout out to the good brother Chris Zaletta at XCZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. Make sure to throw up the X for the good brother Chris right now. Hit him up. What up, Boots? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Who will be the final wildcard teams both on the AFC and NFC side after this weekend? Oh, man. Gotta stump me there. Let me look this up. I gotta look this up. I don't know the current playoff seeding right now. Okay, so for the AFC, I have Pittsburgh, Chargers, and I think the Bengals will sneak in as the final wild card team coming up this weekend. I think Miami will lose to the Jets, and I'll go with the Bengals. I think the Bengals will sneak in and get that final wild card spot for the AFC. As far as the NFC is concerned, I got Minnesota as the 5th seed. I think Detroit will beat them this weekend on Sunday Night Football. I have Washington and Green Bay. Just leave it there. Seattle's eliminated, and I don't think Atlanta is going to the playoffs. So I think the Bucs will get in with 10 victories. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. They will win the South. I think it's pretty plain and simple for the NFC. It would be Vikings, Commanders, and Packers. So those are my predictions for the wild card spots. Good question there. Some wrestling predictions for 2025. All right. Good question. I think that Braun Breaker will get into a feud with Seth Rollins. That's one. I think that either Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez make their way over to Monday Night Raw. I believe that Big E will come back and wrestle. I think Big E will have a triple threat match between the New Day at WrestleMania. That's the prediction there. Okay. I believe that CM Punk will fight Roman Reigns at MetLife Stadium for SummerSlam this year. I believe that John Cena will take on Cody Rhodes in MetLife Stadium for SummerSlam. I believe that Logan Paul will have a match with CM Punk on an international show. That's right. I think CM Punk will fight Logan Paul on a PLE in 2025. Also, I think we'll see CM Punk have a TV match with Dominic Mysterio on Monday Night Raw. I think that Brock Lesnar will return in 2025. I believe that in AEW, Darby Allin will become a champion. I believe that Mercedes McNay will still not draw next to shit. In regards to her run, oh my god, I could have an episode alone on the flop of that run of her in AEW right now. Holy shit. I believe that John Cena, halfway through 2025, will become a heel. You heard that first here. I think John Cena, on his way out, will be a heel. There's a twist to You Can't See Me No More. Be on the lookout for that. 2025, I believe that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins will lock horns again somewhere down the road. I think that will happen. I believe that Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins will form a new unit. I don't have the name for it yet, but I don't have a name yet for their group. But I think Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens will link up as a trio. I think Sheamus becomes the Intercontinental Champion in 2025. I believe that Charlotte Flair will get back in the mix and we'll finally have a Charlotte Flair Bianca Belair program. Is Charlotte the one that attacks Jade Cargill? I'm going to say no, but I think one way or another we will get Charlotte Flair against Bianca Belair in 2025. Becky Lynch. That's interesting. I don't know what she would do when she comes back, though. That's the thing. I have no idea what she's going to do in 2025. That's up in the air. I believe that Liv Valkyria will challenge for the Women's World Championship in 2025. I believe that Joe Henry and Trick Williams will make appearances in the Royal Rumble this year. I believe that we can see either Julia or both her and Stephanie Vancouver in the Women's Royal Rumble in Indy. I believe that Victoria, my girl Lisa Marie, will be going into the WWE Hall of Fame this year in 2025. I think Umaga should be added to that class as well. And might as well put John Cena in the class as well for 2025. I believe that Jon Moxley will continue to be the most overrated wrestler on God's green earth in 2025. I believe that MJF will cut another promo on Tony Khan in 2025. We'll add questions of whether or not he's going to stay with the company or not in the future. We'll have to be on the lookout for that. Also, I think in 2025 that CM Punk and John Cena will have a match in 2025. So I just layered it off at least 20 or 30 different predictions for this year. I'd love to hear your guys' predictions for 2025. If any of the ones I just mentioned stood out to you, just let me know. Also, I think there could be a possibility maybe one day we get CM Punk and Kevin Owens in the ring with each other in 2025. We'll have to see how that goes. Anyways, more likely to have a stable 2025, Drew or Becky? I'm going to go with Drew on that one. Some predictions for Raw on Monday. I'm going to go with John Cena starting off the show and declaring himself for the Royal Rumble match. It got Punk over Rollins, Drew over Jay, Rhea becoming the Women's World Champion. I think Roman wins and The Rock appears after the match. And those are my predictions for Monday. Do you think Zelina eventually leaves the LWO and joins Penta? Either she goes back to Andrade or Penta. We'll have to see how those cards are played, but I think that Zelina's fine just on her own, honestly. I don't think she has to be with anybody, to be honest with you. Who will John Cena's opponent be at WrestleMania? Who will John Cena's last opponent be overall? Great question. I think John Cena will fight Gunther at WrestleMania, Chris, and I think his last opponent will be Braun Breaker. That'll be my prediction on that. Who's more likely to not be walking into Mania as champion, Gunther or Cody? That's also a good question too, because I'm gonna say Cody. I think there could be a possibility where Kevin gets the championship. We'll have to see how that plays out, because if it's something where you can get Kevin, no, I'm not even gonna do this. No. One thing for 2025, I'm gonna request for everybody: please, no more triple threat fucking matches for world championships at WrestleMania. Please, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Freaking Twitter forces the change of the main event of WrestleMania. It's not 2014 anymore. It needs to stop now. Done. Finito. No more. Done. No more. So tired of it. Every year, Rumble. We need that triple threat match. We need a triple threat match. We need a triple that match. No, we do not. Don't know how much you have followed the WWE ID program, or which one of these TDs do you think see in NXT 2025? I'm going to go with Kaylee Ray. That's my prediction. Shout out to Kaylee Ray, one of... did I say her name? Kaylee Ray, right? Yeah, Kaylee Ray, Chicago's own. Shout out to her. So I think she'll be the one in NXT. Who do you think we'll see pop up in TNA? Who will jump from AEW to WWE? One person could see jump from WWE to AEW in 2025. Man, those are good questions. I can see Elias popping up in TNA. I can see maybe AJ Styles popping up in that Slammiversary show that they're doing at the UBS Arena. I think that's pretty cool that TNA's getting some of these bigger venues in 2025, which is well deserved. So I'm going to say AJ Styles for that. What else? AEW to WWE, I think Ricky Starks is an obvious pick. Phoenix. Would love to see Penelope Ford or Chris Statlander. You know what? Scratch that. Camille, leave now while you can and go to WWE where you should have went the first place. So that's my predictions on that one. WWE to AEW. God. That's a good question. Maybe a female, honestly. Maybe Natalia. I don't know. That's a really good question. I gotta look at the roster to see who doesn't get pushed enough. You know, maybe somebody like Santos Escobar, if he does. This is one of the things with why I like the fact that SmackDown's going to 3 hours. I think guys like Santos will get more of the opportunity to like develop their character and get more of a shine light. But I can say Santos Escobar. I can say maybe Austin Theory. I don't know. I think it's going to be more on the female side than the male side if there were to be changes to be made amongst the rosters from WWE to AEW, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Some predictions for New Year's Evil. Like I said, I'm going to go with Fatal Influence. I'll go with Julia to become the NXT Women's Champion. Lexus King will sneak out against Charlie Dempsey in the Son of Death Rules and cheat to win the match. I got Lula Weiss or Stephanie Vancouver winning that Fatal 4-Way match. And then I got Trick Williams retaining in the main event against Obafemi and Eddie Thorpe. But on that note, I want to thank the good brother Chris Saletta for the questions this week. As always, brother, I appreciate you. Did a great job as always. Make sure to follow Chris at XTeenSaletta24X on the Twitter machine. And as always, you can follow yours truly at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com if you want to do any business with us. We really appreciate the support. Also, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe button on YouTube. That way we make it to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're very close on that mark. Also, don't forget to check out the podcast each and every single Friday. Make sure the best way to support this podcast is to follow and stream the podcast on Spotify. Appreciate the support on that end as well. And if you want to check out my play-by-play transcripts for the calendar year, as I cover Raw, SmackDAHN, and NXT and the PLEs, and hopefully more shows in 2025, make sure to check those out in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com and or ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. But on that note, we're going to put a rib on the bow for this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast. Don't forget, episode 450 will drop on January 31st, 2025. For everybody, I'm Joshie. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And make sure to enjoy that Raw Netflix premiere show on Monday. I'm excited for it. We'll recap it here next week. And, hey, the countdown continues. We're 4 episodes away from episode 450 of the Hoots Podcast. We're 3 episodes away from episode 450 now. And the countdown to 500 continues. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I'm Joshie. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. The Bears stink. We'll talk to y'all later. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.